So March Madness is happening in Indianapolis. That's cool.
Yes, and
And we've been watching some of the games.
we finished Last Chance U.
Oh yeah, finished
That
last
was
chance
good.
you.
Poor, and it was funny to give a flashback to.
Because that was just last year. So
Yeah,
that
I
was
mean, not to give any
fascinating.
spoilers, but it ends at the series kind of ends when COVID begins. So the how quickly things changed in the month of March last year is it's a reminder when you watch the show to say, wow, within days, it seems like every day for
Yep.
like 2 weeks.
Remember, there was that 2 week time period where it was like every day something was happening.
First they called off school, and then they're like, we don't know when we're coming back, or when, and then all this stuff, and then March Madness, and you like then 15 days is slow. I was like, the world coming to an end. I have expected to see an asteroid come streaking across the sky.
So they played the majority. The games yesterday were really good. There's
Yeah.
a lot of teams that aren't typically in the tournament that are winning. So it's pretty cool.
I think I'm gonna make it. I'm not. Everybody
Oh,
hates
boy.
the predictions here.
Here's your prediction.
I think that college football. I noticed this college football. It seemed kind of wonky and off. Like to your point about teams you wouldn't
Yeah.
typically see. I think that it'll maybe take a season or two or three to kind of get back to you know what I mean, a typical.
I think SEC will be back to normal next year.
Yeah, probably.
I think they're going to be like, yeah, this didn't phase us from the standpoint of like the impact that all the badness that was going to happen from us playing football did not happen. So,
Well, if you remember, the SEC is it Big 12, Big 10.
Big Ten,
They're like, we're not going to have a season this year, and SEC was like, we'll take that. Thanks, though. We're going to have a season. We're playing for day one, and then after a few games, and I mean, and all the everybody was watching those games.
Well, you already said that the Dallas Cowboys are open.
Yeah, Jerry Jones was like, we're not having restrictions. Thanks, though.
Yeah.
You want to
So-
come? Great. If not, don't come. Don't care.
Yeah.
So
So,
it's Texas. Go big or go home.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So anyway, there's some really cool teams that are in the tournament. So Harrison, do you have a favorite team? Did you pick somebody to win?
I did not fill out a bracket because I don't pay attention. But one of my good friends, Luke Hallett, actually did the pregame and postgame for the Florida Gators game.
Did he really?
Good for him.
Yes, he did.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
he's doing coverage for the March Madness tournament as we speak. which
Oh
is
my
pretty
God.
neat.
Can I say something about brackets? As someone who's filled out a few brackets over the years, every time I look at it, I was like, you had better go buy a lottery ticket if you win this, because there are so many
Caveats. Yeah.
permutations. If this, it's just there's no way to.
There are 0 perfect brackets right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of teams like what's the team that I'm thinking of that upset? It was a 16 seed.
Oh, it was
Loyola.
Oral Roberts, wasn't it?
I don't
Ohio
know.
State.
Oral Roberts. Yeah.
Well, Madeline was talking about. Yeah, she was over before you got home.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, Oral Roberts was or beat Ohio State. And I was like, really? And I go, you know, who Oral Roberts was, right? And she goes, no. And she goes, I said, he was a famous televangelist
Yeah,
in the
preacher.
50s.
Yeah.
And there was a running joke when I was a kid, before CDs and all that crap. They're like, yeah, I bought an Oral Roberts album and the hole in the middle healed up because he was known for healing people. But it's a religious, it's like, it's a Christian university.
All right.
So when she said that, I was like, really? I didn't even know they. So anyway.
So it's exciting for schools like that. I think that's
Yeah,
fun
that is
to
cool.
bring attention to schools like that because they
Yeah.
are playing good basketball, and I think sometimes they get forgotten.
Yeah, because you have the powerhouses that win. You know,
Yeah.
they're at the top every year.
And that's the one thing that I really love about basketball is that you can have, a team just below like the best players and beat the best players because it only requires certain things to happen in order. You're much more likely to have that happen than like a football, than like
Right.
Alabama getting beat by Oral Roberts. Do you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like that's not going to happen. There's too many
that would
places.
be a miracle.
But in basketball, that can definitely happen.
Right.
And so, and there are a lot of reasons probably why, but so I think that's why people like it so much because you do always want to root for the underdog. You always want to see the
Yeah.
underdog win.
Why
So-
don't they, is it a stupid question. I've lived here for long enough. I should know the answer. Why don't they do that at the high school level?
what?
Like a bracketed thing like that where you have all the teams come together and play.
They used to, but now they've separated it into classes.
But they didn't used to have a class system.
They did not used to have a class
So
system.
you could be from some small
Yep.
town and win it all.
Yep, that's the whole Hoosiers movie.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I didn't know why they.
Yep. Why they did it? Because that only happens once in a decade.
And that was the argument against it was that
Century, probably, not decade. Yeah.
is that you had like
yep.
5 or 6 schools that just won it every year.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
the Caramels or whatever.
Right.
And they changed the rules even more so that if you won state
in your smaller class, then
if you like one state or if you got to a certain level over a certain period of time, like 2 or 3 years, they bumped you up to another class.
Yeah.
And that happened to Garen, and they bumped up a class that kind of weren't great, and then they
bumped it back down.
Back down.
Yeah.
When you weren't competing. So kind of it's fluid.
Yeah.